The first light of dawn crept over Rome, painting the ancient stones with a soft golden hue. The sun, a distant promise just moments before, now began its ascent, chasing away the lingering shadows of night. The city of 7 hills began to stir, shaking off its slumber like a great beast awakening. Life, dormant for a few precious hours, was about to explode back into vibrant activity. Golden rays touched the temples, illuminating the intricate carvings and the imposing grandeur of these sacred spaces. And public buildings, the heart of Roman power and governance. The very stones seemed to hum with the weight of history. Shadows retreated from narrow, winding streets, revealing the hidden corners and secret passages of the ancient city. A new day was dawning in the capital of the world, a beacon of civilization in the center of a vast empire. Over 1 million souls called this city home, a teeming mass of humanity from every corner of the known world. Our story follows Lucius, an ordinary Roman craftsman, a faber, skilled with his hands and content with his lot, not a senator draped in purple, not a general leading legions, just Lucius, a face in the crowd. His world was one of hard work and simple pleasures, the satisfaction of a job well done and the comfort of a warm meal. He knew the city's rhythms and unwritten rules, the subtle dance of survival in a bustling metropolis. As the sun climbed higher, Lucius began to wake, his senses slowly returning to him. The sounds of the city were his alarm clock, a constant reminder of the world outside his door. From his small window, the clatter of cartwheels and distant shouts grew louder, a symphony of urban life. The smell of baking bread drifted upwards, mingling with wood smoke, a pungent aroma that was uniquely Roman. Rome was a city of strong smells and constant noise, a sensory overload that both invigorated and exhausted its inhabitants. Lucius stretched on his straw mattress, feeling the familiar aches and pains of a craftsman's life. Another day in mighty Rome had begun, another chance to make his mark on the world, however small. He thought of the tasks ahead, wood to buy, a client to meet, maybe a visit to the baths, a welcome respite from the day's labors. Life was busy, always moving, a constant flow of people and goods. He was a small part of this giant machine, an empire stretching for miles, its tendrils reaching across continents. He felt a familiar mix of duty and routine, the comforting rhythm of daily life. Lucius swung his legs off the bed, the rough wool of his tunic scratching against his skin. Time to face the day, to embrace the challenges and opportunities that awaited him. Surge, time to rise, he muttered to himself, a small act of defiance against the inertia of sleep. The city was already calling, its siren song of commerce and chaos beckoning him forth. He took a deep breath, ready for whatever the day would bring, the triumphs and tribulations that were sure to come. Rome awaited, a stage upon which he would play his small but vital part. Lucius lived in an insula, a common type of dwelling for many Romans. A tall, crowded apartment building, often several stories high, packed with families from all walks of life. His family's apartment was on the 3rd floor, a climb each day, but it offered a bit more light and air than the lower levels. Just 2 rooms, a space for sleeping, eating, and living. The walls were thin, hastily constructed and not very soundproof. Neighbors' voices carried easily, their joys and sorrows echoing through the building. Life in an insula was noisy, a constant hum of activity from dawn till dusk. But it was home, a place of family, familiarity, and belonging. His morning routine was simple, dictated by necessity and the rhythm of the city. He splashed cold water on his face from a small basin, a quick attempt to shake off the last vestiges of sleep. Water was precious, not something to be wasted. It was carried up from the public fountain, a daily chore. Gaia, his wife, was already up, her movements practiced and efficient, moving quietly so as not to disturb the children. Their 2 children still slept, their small bodies peaceful in slumber, curled together on a mat, sharing warmth and dreams. The air was cool inside, a welcome change from the rising temperatures outside. A brief respite before the heat of the Roman summer truly took hold. Breakfast, Ientaculum, was modest, a far cry from the elaborate meals of the wealthy. Coarse bread, the staple of their diet, dipped in wine or water to soften it and add a bit of flavor. Maybe a few olives if they were lucky. Gaia handed him his share, a silent offering of sustenance and support. They ate standing or on stools, quickly and efficiently. No grand table here, no leisurely dining, just enough to start the day, to fuel the work ahead. The children would eat when they woke, their needs always a priority. Lucius finished his bread, chewing thoughtfully, and nodded to Gaia, a silent thank you, a gesture of shared understanding. Their life was one of shared tasks and small joys, a partnership forged in necessity and love. The city's sounds from below grew more insistent, a cacophony of voices, carts, and animals. It was time to prepare, to face the demands of the day, time to join the river of people flowing through the streets of Rome. Lucius gathered his things, the tools of his trade. He glanced at his sleeping children, a moment of tenderness before the day's struggles. He and Gaia exchanged a knowing look, a silent promise to return safely. The day was beginning for all of Rome, from the grandest villas to the humblest apartments. He stepped out into the bustling corridor, ready to face the city, its challenges and opportunities. The world outside was already alive, teeming with energy and purpose. Lucius dressed for the day. First, his tunic, a simple knee-length wool garment. Most Romans wore tunics, rich or poor. His was undyed, clean but well-worn. He fastened it with a leather belt. Next came the toga, his mark as a Roman citizen. The toga virilis, heavy and symbolic. Gaia helped him drape it just right. With his toga arranged, Lucius felt ready. He picked up his tabulae wax tablets for notes and orders. Essential tools for his carpentry work. He tucked them into his toga's folds. A Roman's toga was also his pocket. He kissed Gaia briefly and looked at his sleeping children. He hoped for a good day's work, to provide for them, to keep them safe. He stepped out of their apartment. The narrow wooden stairs creaked under his sandals. He descended into the growing noise. The Roman day was truly underway. Amos! Let's go! The city's energy was infectious. Lucius felt the weight and pride of citizenship. He was ready to play his part. Rome was waiting. He joined the flow of people. The day had begun in earnest. The street outside the insula was chaotic, a whirlwind of activity that never seemed to cease. A river of humanity, constantly flowing, ebbing, and swirling. People hurried in all directions, each with their own purpose, their own destination. Messengers, their sandals slapping against the stone streets as they rushed to deliver important news. Merchants hawking their wares, their voices adding to the cacophony of the city. Soldiers marching in formation, their armor glinting in the sun, a reminder of Rome's power. Women draped in stolas, going about their daily lives, managing households and families. Children darting through the crowds, their laughter a brief respite from the city's intensity. The air was thick with smells. Food, roasting meats and freshly baked bread mingling in the air. Perfumes, exotic scents from the east adding a touch of luxury. Animals. The scent of horses and oxen, essential for transport and trade, was ever present. The noise was a constant hum, shouts, arguments over prices and goods filling the air, laughter, shared jokes and stories providing moments of levity, music. The sounds of lyres and flutes drifted from doorways, adding to the vibrant atmosphere. Lucius joined the throng, heading toward the Forum Romanum, the heart of the city's power and commerce. He knew these streets well, the shortcuts, the hidden alleyways that offered a quicker route, the crowded corners where vendors and beggars jostled for space. He nodded to familiar faces, a baker, his face dusted with flour, a shoemaker, bent over his workbench, carefully crafting sandals. Salve! Hail! No time to stop! The city pulled everyone along, a relentless current of life. Nearing the forum, the crowds grew denser, a sea of faces and togas, the buildings grander, testaments to Rome's power and ambition. Marble columns gleamed in the sun, reaching towards the heavens. Temples dedicated to the gods stood as symbols of Rome's piety. Basilicas, vast halls where legal proceedings and business transactions took place. Government offices, the nerve center of the Roman Empire. The center of Roman life. Law, the foundation of Roman society, was debated and enforced here. Business, fortunes were made and lost in the blink of an eye. Religion, rituals and sacrifices performed to appease the gods. Politics, the fate of the empire decided within these walls. All happened here. The air buzzed with energy and importance, a palpable sense of history in the making. Lucius felt awe. Even after years, the grandeur of Rome never failed to impress. He entered the vast open space. Orators addressed crowds, their voices amplified by the acoustics of the forum, voices booming about new laws and the emperor, shaping public opinion. Senators strode purposefully, their togas flowing behind them, symbols of their status. Businessmen haggled, striking deals that would shape the city's economy. Lucius needed to find his client. A crucial meeting awaited. Near the Temple of Castor and Pollux, a familiar landmark in the bustling forum, he scanned the bustling scene, searching for a familiar face in the throng. The forum was a stage, a grand theater where the drama of Roman life unfolded. Every Roman played their part, from the humblest citizen to the most powerful senator. Lucius was just one among many, a small piece in the vast mosaic of Rome. The city's pulse was strongest here, the very heart of the Roman world. He moved with purpose, blending into the crowd, yet determined to achieve his goal. Rome's heart beat loudly, a powerful rhythm that resonated through the empire. Lucius was part of its rhythm, a vital component in the city's intricate dance. The day pressed on, the sun beginning its descent, casting long shadows across the forum. Rome never stopped, its energy and ambition eternal. By midday the sun was high and the forum still busy. Lucius had finished his morning's work and secured a new commission. Time for prandium, the midday meal, usually light and quick. He bought bread and figs from a vendor, found a spot on temple steps, and ate while watching the city's life unfold. Many Romans did the same, quick refueling before the afternoon. The main meal, cena, would come later at home. After prandium, Lucius had choices. Today, he chose leisure. A walk through a public garden, admiring statues and fountains. He met his friend Marcus, another craftsman. They talked about work, family, and city gossip, simple pleasures in a magnificent city. The city's energy shifted as afternoon approached. Lucius enjoyed the brief respite. Soon it would be time to return home. Rome's pace never truly slowed. As afternoon shadows lengthened, Lucius headed home, back to his insula apartment and his family. The streets were still busy, but the energy was calmer. He climbed the familiar stairs, greeted by the smell of cooking. Gaia was preparing the evening meal. The children ran to him shouting, "Pater! Father!" He hugged them, asking about their day. Before dinner the family gathered at the Lararium, a small shrine for the household gods. Lucius offered incense and a bit of food, saying a simple prayer. This daily ritual connected them to their ancestors and gods. Gaia managed the household, raised the children, and kept their world running. Roman women had some freedoms, but home was their main sphere. Gaia was the heart of their familia, strong and loving. Her work was essential. The family's bond was their strength. Evening brought a sense of peace. Lucius felt grateful for his home. The day's work was done. Cena, dinner, was the main meal. For Lucius's family it was simple but nourishing. They gathered around a small table, sitting on stools. Gaia served a vegetable stew, bread, and sometimes a little fish or pork, fruit for dessert, wine mixed with water to drink. They talked about their day, news from the forum, stories from the children. After the meal, there was no grand entertainment. They told stories, helped with lessons, or mended clothes by lamplight. These quiet moments bound the family together. Social customs mattered, respect, sharing, community. Sometimes a neighbor joined for a chat, shared burdens made life lighter. The evening was for connection before sleep. Later the children slept and Gaia tidied up. Lucius stepped onto their small balcony looking at the night sky. Stars twinkled above Rome's rooftops. The city was quieter now, though never silent. He thought about his day, the rush, the work, the joy of family. It was an ordinary day, filled with small routines and triumphs. Yet it was a Roman life in the greatest city on earth. He was one man, a tiny cog in the vast Roman machine. But he was part of it. His work, his family, his city. He lived under Roman law, walked Roman streets, drank from Roman aqueducts. His life was intertwined with Rome's destiny. He felt quiet pride to be a citizen here. Rome was not perfect, but tonight he felt content. His day was done. He had lived it well. Tomorrow Rome would awaken again, and he, Lucius, would awaken with it. Roma Aeterna, eternal Rome.